Hello and welcome back to Sly 2, Band of Thieves. Before getting to the action though, I've mentioned a couple of times in the past how I want to talk about the PlayStation Vita version of this game, because it's a little bit different. The Vita is kind of interesting to talk about because generally I find that it's a kind of a more ignored system. But I haven't really found a good time to do so, because there's always been a lot of things that I want to talk about with the situation at hand. But you know what? Boom! Let's go for it! Yeah, shitty camcorder, PlayStation Vita, fucking, oh my god, this is so bad. Oh boy, I'm sorry about this. Recording a PlayStation Vita is kind of a messy business. What you can do is to buy a PlayStation TV and get some sort of live recording out of that, but the problem about the PlayStation TV is this sort of device that you can connect to your Vita or PlayStation 4 or something, and then you can stream the game to the TV. Oh, fuck off. And that way you can actually get recording straight from a PlayStation Vita. Problem about that is that actually not all games are compatible. One of those games not compatible being this game, so that's not an option. I can send my Vita in to get it like fucking modified for $300, but I'm not gonna spend the cash on that for half a fucking video. Oh, and I probably should have mentioned that to begin with. This will not be the whole video, thankfully. I'll go over why that is in just a moment, but first off,
to drive the tank. Press both up to move forward, both down to go in reverse, and in opposite directions to rotate. To fire your turret, tap the R1 button. You'll need to take out 6 tanks to get the job done.
Now I like this. Because this game is modified to be in widescreen, you can clearly see that Murray never went into the window.
She's gotta go back farther than this. Okay, guys, I'm in a tank.
Oh no, fuck.
Remember, both sticks up to move forward, both down for reverse, and in opposite directions to rotate.
This is so professional.
Fires your turret.
But this is a very fitting mission for Murray. You know why? Because I always saw him as kind of a tanky character. Haha.
Like a T-Rex out here.
But thankfully, as I said, this is only gonna be half the video. Because I'm not gonna linger on this for too long, but what basically happened is that I had to split this episode into 2 separate video files. And somehow, while naming the audio commentary file, I accidentally wrote part of that name in the video file as well. And that meant that the 2 videos that I recorded one after another had the exact same file name, and thus the latter one just completely overwrote the previous one. So when I tried to record this thing in 2 separate videos, it just turned into one, which is why the second half of this is normal. And the first half is, you know, like this. But you know, luck and bad luck, let's talk about the Vita then. There really aren't a lot of differences to really talk about, because it is as much as possible the same game, just on a different system. But just the fact that it is on a different system can make a difference. For instance, I don't know how many of you have played on a PS Vita, but it has surprisingly few buttons. But the fact that it has fewer buttons than a normal PS3 controller, or even PS2 for that matter, it becomes very noticeable when you try to play a game that is optimized for PS2 or 3. So for instance, there's only 2 shoulder buttons. There's just L and R, and you need the R button for running.
Nice work, Murray. That should cool down those mercenaries for a while.
So that means that special moves only get 1 button. That's pretty bad, to be honest. But now, for our next and currently only mission left, we're sending Bentley back into a crypt, and I gotta say, I'm really glad that you have a GPS marker for this. Otherwise, finding this mission would be very cryptic. Haha! Fuck off, my phone keeps falling over! Oh my god.
How are you gonna hack the computers down there when they've got no power?
According to General Clawfoot, mobile energy source is stored at the end of this hallway.
Hallway is a pretty kind term for what looks to me like a complex medieval gauntlet of death.
Yes. Well, while the idea of jumping down a crypt filled with whirling, razor-sharp spikes might scare me, in fact terrorize my every fiber, it's the only way to power up that old computer in the re-education tower. Without that thing online, we'll never get into Clockwork Eyes or free Carmelita.
You're a good man, Bentley. Just make sure those traps don't rip you into 100 little turtle pieces.
Why'd you have to say that?
Maybe it's payback because you were equally morbid last time, Bentley. You're both kinda gross with each other. Well, not gross, that sounds... Oh wait, I'm misunderstanding. I just left a bomb, that's good. Wow, here we go. We need to traverse these traps. Bentley's just a dainty little turtle. Dainty? What is with we in the word dainty today? Okay. I know I briefly went over this already, but I really gotta apologize right away that my amazing gameplay skills are going to be particularly bad today. Because, as I've said, I'm holding this Vita incredibly awkwardly. It's very uncomfortable. I'm not able to reach all the buttons properly. I'm not able to really move my hands in ways I like doing. And in general, I also would just say that the Vita is not the most comfortable system to hold in the first place. So that's not a good place to start, but oh well. Them's the breaks. That's what I get for not being careful and making backups. Why did you latch onto that, Bentley? Hey, again, we're kind of just at this mission where we're just running and jumping. There really isn't much going on. I guess in a sense I was really lucky with the missions I got, because these really have a lot of room to talk about the Vita version. So, there really isn't much I want to say that's relevant to the situation at hand, but there's one thing I don't get, and I'm just gonna talk about it now because that's something that's going to be shown in this video at all. Animated cutscenes. For some bizarre reason, this system, which is a fairly good and well-built system, it has good graphical capabilities, it runs games well, it really struggles with these simple, not very much moving animated cutscenes. And I kind of do partially wish I would show this, because my explanation's probably not going to do it justice how pretty bad and unprofessional this actually looks, but the animated cutscenes in this, essentially every frame just looks like a really badly compressed JPEG.
Aha! This acid battery should do the trick. Just walk close to the electrode and voila! Prepare to be hacked, you knave.
And I really don't get it. Like, it's a PS2 game, and you see how well it runs just now. Why would these simple, not very much moving animated cutscenes struggle? I don't know. I don't get it. But I also don't know shit about, like, video compression or anything. Like, I'm assuming the cutscenes are, like, pre-rendered. I don't know. It wouldn't make sense for them not to be pre-rendered, right? Well, do movies just take up so much space that they needed to compress it that badly? Because, oh, I wish I would show it. It looks awful. Maybe I'll show it at some later point in the series. Because I don't know, maybe we'll have some bonus features at the end or something. Anyway though, with this final enemy, that's it for the first computer.
I'll get you, Contessa.
Oh, how many times must you say that? It's not going to happen.
I'm dead serious. I'll get you.
I'll get you, I'll get you.
I mean it. I'll get you.
Yes, yes, so I've heard.
That's one down, 2 to go. I'd better not take any damage while carrying this battery to the other terminals. It is, after all, filled with acid.
I just love how nonchalantly it says that. But yeah, what this means is that you cannot get hit even once with this thing on your back. I don't know what it is with Bentley and having one-hit kill things on his back, but... oh, pfft. There we go. Once we can get to the next computer, each computer acts as its checkpoint, as they usually do. This is where things are gonna get kinda tricky, though. Okay, this is admittedly kind of a tricky part of the mission, not gonna lie. Especially when you have the disadvantage of using an incredibly uncomfortable controller. That really doesn't help at all. But there we go. Now, as another kind of just random, not really relevant to anything kind of topic about the Vita, one thing I really like is that it's technically a different game from the PS3 version. Why does this matter? Well, they're different games in the trophy list as well. So playing through this game on a PS3 and Vita, I'm getting double the trophies. I love that. But on the other hand, one thing I don't love is hacking on the Vita. I don't know how well this shows in the video, but these joysticks are kind of terrible, and it's particularly noticeable when playing the hacking games. It's definitely something you feel when walking around as well, but it's just not as huge of a crutch then. Essentially, the joysticks feel like they just have 8 different directions. They feel like I may as well be using a D-pad. And that's pretty bad in a hacking game like this, where sometimes you want to make somewhat precise angles. Yeah, it's not great. I really gotta say, the lack of buttons and just kind of bad joysticks are really some of the worst parts of the Vita as a system. And to kind of combine those two flaws, the joysticks cannot be pushed down like they can in a PS2 or PS3 controller. And that is something that you actually do quite a lot in this game. So what are those mapped to instead then? Well, find out next time.
Maybe I should approach this through your id instead of your conscious mind. It might help to get around your super ego.
One more computer and I can get out of here.
Okay, so back to the joystick pressing down and how that's not possible in this version. You see the Binocucom, which is usually pressing down the right joystick? You actually tap the screen. Which isn't that bad, but it's kind of unresponsive for some reason. The touchscreen on the Vita isn't the greatest. But what is touch-related, and really not the greatest, is actually kind of pretty damn bad. Using the GPS tracker, which is usually the left joystick button. I don't know how familiar you are with the Vita, but on the back side it has this weird sensor pad of some sort. It's kind of like the touchpad on the PS4 controller, just a lot worse. But again, I also cannot stress enough how very uncomfortable it is to hold the Vita like this. And in addition, I'm holding the Vita kinda at a distance against from my eyes because I need to have room for both my telephone camera and the microphone. So the screen is just generally smaller than it usually is, and it's also just in general, to begin with, a small screen. Whoa! So you know, just all around kind of a bad time. And also, I hope the screen is not too shaky and terrible. I'll try my best to like stabilize it, but I don't really have any experience in doing that. I don't know. I frankly have no idea how this is going to look. But I'll try my best to make it look not so much as. Oh, it probably looks awful. But to reiterate, this is the only time. Do not worry. No more of this bullshit after this one video. And not even the whole video. Just a little bit more. We need to finish this mission and begin the next mission. Once that's done, that's it. We will return to the PS3 version, which is recorded before this one, with past myself, who has no idea that he has to go through this shit right now. And by the way, just as a side note about that, as I said, the reason I split the video is because the game froze. Which means that once we get back to the PS3 version, just imagine the cutscene you're about to see then. But imagine every character standing perfectly still, but the camera's still moving a little bit, and nothing happening. It's kind of funny. I really wish I had the footage for it still. Oh, and I guess we have a new enemy here. This guy's just kind of 3 guys taped together into one big guy. It's kind of funny, to be honest. And surprisingly non-threatening. There you go.
Inspector Fox, why fight it? Don't you want to be my friend?
No, you horrible 8-legged cow! No!
With that old computer powered up, my work here is done. It's time to wage war on the castle, and in the confusion, pull off a heist I've named Operation High Road. First, Murray will take down the spotlights on the main gate with the codes provided by General Clawfoot. Then, with the help of the voice modulator, I'll order Neela's forces to attack. Sly will then paraglide the two of us over to the Contessa's getaway blimp, and we'll use it to get inside her re-education tower. The assault on the castle will undoubtedly draw the Shadow Guards off their post, and if we free Inspector Fox, she's sure to clear out the Contessa. With the Mind Shuffler exposed, I'll plant the Bad Mojo bomb, and presto! The Clockwork Eyes are ours. So if the two of you are ready, let's take our positions and get this thing started.
Getting started with the heist. There's one interesting detail about this, and this is not something that happens a lot, but the heist is activated by Murray. But he doesn't exactly play a large role in the heist, so what they've done to sort of compensate for that, I guess, is that you select Murray.
Alright, Murray. Head for the castle's main gate and power down those searchlights. While you do that, Bentley and I will climb our way up to the top of the castle. Good luck.
Yes, Sly actually gives you instructions before starting the mission. That's not something that happens a lot, but I feel like that's a way to sort of indicate that let's pretend like the mission already started, and then this is the thing that Murray does in the mission. But once you actually start the mission, you don't do anything as Murray.
Hope that general guy told the truth, or this is gonna get ugly. Oh yeah! The lights are down, Bentley. Time to call in the cavalry. I'll see if I can find some extra firepower to help out.
Attention, bloodthirsty mercenary forces! The castle
Defenses are down. Seize this opportunity for aggressive military action by pressing an attack on the castle. Charge! For victory, for glory!
That should do it.
Now that you're done being a warmonger, feel like paragliding over to that blimp?
Just make sure to grab the rope hanging off that thing. I don't want to drown.
I love how tiny Bentley becomes on this back here. It's amazing. It's so cute. It's just hanging on the back. I like that. Now, you actually cannot start this heist if you have not bought the paraglider yet, which fortunately I have, even in the PlayStation Vita version. You need to latch onto the rope and onto the blimp.
Hold on, pal. This could get rough.
And I especially love how we're still fighting with Bentley on our back. Now, after this point, we're going back to the PS3 version finally.
All right, let's head for the re-education tower.
So thank you very much for your patience. Things will be back to normal from now on.
What? The mercenaries have breached the castle defenses? All of you go! Defend this tower to the last man! Don't worry, my dear. I still have time to finish with your readjustment.
Let me out of here and I'll readjust your face.
Okay, partner. Looks like the Shadow Guard is out of the picture. You ready to free our violent little princess?
Affirmative. That Iron Tech 250 is a fully integrated system. Access to Carmelita's restraints has to be in this old terminal somewhere.
It feels really funny to me how the thing that Carmelita is attached to is apparently super high tech, but the only thing on it that isn't wooden are the actual restraining things themselves. It's kind of funny. It looks like something that could be built in like the 19th century. And apparently it's super high tech and like, whoa, you need to hack super well and be really good like me to do. Wow, can you tell I love Bentley's voice? Actually about that, Bentley's voice is a very interesting subject because when Sly 1 first was being developed and they sort of recorded these temporary voices just to show off the game and what it would be like. So Sly used to sound very differently in that demo, but that was never supposed to be the final thing. Sly sounded really cocky and kind of like an asshole, but Bentley, he sounded just like he does now. Bentley's voice was started out as a joke, and the developers just liked it so much that they kept it. I love that.
That should do it.
Aha! I've isolated the brain pattern. You and I are about to become the best of friends.
Okay, new best friend. Hands up, and I mean all of them.
My dear, you really should... Shadow Guard! Shadow Guard!
Come back here, you
Bitch.
That Carmelita. Always trying to resolve her problems with a shock pistol.
She is rather truculent. Stand clear, Sly. This might have a larger blast than anticipated.
Bentley, you okay?
This is no place for an asthmatic. But I've located one of the clockwork eyes. Can you find the other?
No worries, chaps. It's safely in hand.
Neela?
Thanks for clearing out the Contessa. Nothing I did could pry her away from the clockwork eyes. Wouldn't she be enough for the old bird? Ta-ta!
Bentley, take the eye and escape on the blimp. I'm going after Neela.
But the plan, this wasn't in the plan.
up, Bentley. You're about to come under fire. Get to the blimp's turret and stay sharp.
So Neela has a paraglider of her own. It looks strikingly similar to her hijab, so I feel like it's maybe just that she has two of them. One as a spare, but then she uses it as a paraglider. That's a funny thought, at least. Now, Neela is a little bit faster than she usually is, but this time it doesn't matter that you hit her or anything. It doesn't matter at all what you do. You're supposed to chase her down, and even though it would be kind of nice if you could just hit her and use that as a way to, like, end this segment quickly, you unfortunately can't. You need to follow her all the way no matter what. But, see, this is the problem. When we have two opposing forces, well, no, not even that. We have two forces opposing the same third one. Because Neela and us are both going against the Contessa. But she's going for the police, and we're going for us. And despite the fact that Neela and us are technically on the same side, we're not on the same side. We both have our own motives that happen to coincide with each other, but not in a way that can actually allow us to cooperate in such a way. And I like that dynamic a lot. I like the fact that, Neela has her good intentions. She just has her own somewhat opposing ways of doing them. I don't know, I just find it to be a very interesting dynamic, and it's one of the reasons why I like Neela a lot.
You really should watch where you're going. This place is dangerous.
Don't you dare! That eye is mine! It's mine!
Actually, Mr. Cooper, the eye belongs to me.
Heads up, Bentley. You're about to come under fire. Get to the blimp's turret and stay sharp.
Okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Sure you can, no problem at all. So, we have these infinite responding airplanes of which we need to shoot down X amount. X being, well, X being 20. I don't know why I said X, I could have just said 20. But yeah, as usual, these planes are fairly harmless. They're certainly not like the helicopters like before that kind of did nothing until they got too close, but they're not going to be doing too much damage anyway, at least if you're being diligent and actually shooting them down, which is kind of the point of the mission. If you're not doing it, you probably deserve to get shot. Wow, that was dark, sorry. In addition to the planes though, there's going to be some tanks on the ground level that's going to be shooting at you as well. I wouldn't bother with those. You don't get any more extra points for doing it, there's no reason to, and they're not going to be doing much damage either. Honestly, if this really broke out into some big huge war, it probably wouldn't be very impressive to watch, because neither of these parties are very good at much of anything.
Watch out!
Why would you tell them to watch out, Bentley? You're trying to get them shot down. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like doing this. Maybe Bentley feels bad for the pilots. I mean, they are, you know, being from the Neela side, they are probably affiliated with the police. They're probably not bad people at all. They're probably just doing their jobs. And then we just come around and blow them up? Shit, pomfrit, man, that's...
That did it. The sky's all clear. Okay, guys, I'm heading out for our rendezvous.
Come back here, Contessa. That getaway blimp won't save you.
Merciful Hades, Sly, can you read me? Carmelita shot out the guidance system, and the blimp's descending at a decidedly unsafe rate. I'm going down! Down! Down!
That eye belongs to me, and I want it back.
No way. You think I'm crazy? Actually, on second thought, don't answer that. I really don't want your professional opinion.
Not crazy, just stupid. You're an ignorant child playing dress-up in his father's legacy. Oh, I know all about you and the Cooper clan.
Then you'll understand why this eye needs to be destroyed.
Short-sighted fool! I've no interest in your narrow interpretation of morality. I'm above all that. Above good and evil.
And you think I'd give the eye to someone that's above morality?
Enough talk, insect. It will be just as easy, and more fun, to pry it from your cold, dead hand.
Now here we have a one-on-one boss fight against the Contessa, and if you haven't already, I hope you see what I see when I say that the Contessa is fucking awesome as a villain. Now, this fight here, I recommend something that I haven't exactly recommended much in the past, equipping the combat dodge. I haven't actually done it. Yes, I have. Why wasn't he doing it? That was weird. The Contessa has a lot of really quick attacks like that, as you can see, and he's not doing... There we go. He wasn't doing the combat dodge. I kept pressing L2 and it just didn't do anything. She has a really quick... she has a lot of really quick attacks that can be difficult to dodge if you don't have something as fast as the combat dodge. If you don't use the combat dodge, keeping a good distance and then just sort of sneaking in and whacking when it's clear she's not going to be doing much, that's a good idea to do as well. There aren't really any other moves I would particularly recommend using in this fight. All I really say is use the combat dodge and mash the square button. She's almost done already. If you fall down, she's going to be kind enough to actually just pick you back up again, as I didn't need to demonstrate right there. Haha, very nice. But for some reason, my combat dodge is really not being nice and activating, but as you can see, it's not a necessity, it's just a convenience.
Enough. You've shown me the error of my ways.
I feel sorry for you. All your education and you still don't know right from wrong. Huh? Oof!
I know enough not to let my guard down around an intellectually superior opponent.
She got the eye? She's got the eye!
How's this thing work? What's this do? And this?
Guys, help! Carmelita took the eye, and she's trying to get away in one of the Contessa's tanks.
Don't worry about it, little buddy. I won't let her get away.
Shoot at her tank to incapacitate it. She won't be harmed, and we'll get to keep on shelling her to stop that tank.
I love this. Carmelita's just kind of panicking inside this tank and we're shooting her down. We're mean people. I mean, first we bombed down innocent police officers in the planes and now this?
I'll grab the eye while Carmelita's still stuck in her tank, then come around to pick up Bentley for a quick exit.
I like how the wolves just lay down in front of the tank.
Do what you can, Sly. We'll all hook up at the rendezvous for extraction.
So I get to hook up with Murray? No, I had to hook up for extraction?
So why don't you just hand over the eye?
You're right, Cooper. In a battle of strength, you've proven yourself. But with this clockwork eye, I can battle in your mind.
She is not done yet. This time she's basically the same. She has the same kind of charging attack and everything, but she has one more thing up her sleeve as well. As you can see, she has this big magic green spotlight, which is very dangerous. You want to get out of it. As I've said, this is another good use of the combat dodge, because it's easy to just swoop right out of it. Should you get caught by it, however, you will somewhat lose control of Sly for a few seconds. You will be walking around in different directions, and you cannot use your cane. It's annoying, you become invulnerable, and you will be unable to hit her for a while. So generally, keep out of it. It's not a good thing. It's not a problem at all. Just remember to use your combat dodge. As I've said, I find it all... Oh, hi! Hey, there we go. As I said, contrary to most situations, I find the combat dodge really helpful here and really easy to recommend. But that's it.
You've got a strong mind, Cooper. I never would have guessed.
Things hadn't gone exactly to plan, but the Contessa was beaten and the clockwork eyes were finally mine. The Contessa was arrested and brought to trial for the crime she committed while working for Interpol. Their PR damage control went one step further by promoting Neela, the hero of Prague, to the rank of captain. Carmelita, still on the outs with Interpol, had to run with the rest of us. To my surprise and eternal delight, I got to help my favorite policewoman escape from the cops. I tried to put it all out of my mind. This claw business was spiraling out of control, and I knew that my gang was at the center of it. We'd be back in action soon enough, but for now, well, we just laid low for a while.